The piece I'm making for the rail trail is based on 4 forms of vitreous enamel bowls, sorts of things that the itinerant workers who made the rail trail would have used at the time. The viewers bring their own memory to a piece, and one of the key triggers for that is colour and pattern. And they will be striped blue and white, which will be reminiscent of the colours that are used so commonly in vitreous enamel.
My concept was really about removing bark from eucalypt trees. Our old people used to mark their bodies with keloid scars. Keloid scarring is a form of tattooing, and so my concept was about, once removing the bark, that we could keloid scar. So you see, when you've got scar trees in the landscape from our old people, you'll see these big sections of where it's healing.
So I personally call this project a seed project. I want to plant a seed in lands, but when they grow up, there are so many different patterns with different native plants. It is the first time I utilize the indigenous plant and native plants. And also this work is in a bush or in a remote area. When I look at this, it's just like naturally immerse and engage with the landscape.
The idea was to make a sculpture that was something that is inhabitable. I had the idea of the yam daisy as the element I wanted to use.
I'm collaborating with Sammy Trist, who's a Tangerang woman and artist. Yeah, it's not so much the sculpture, it's more the experience of being inside the sculpture and where that guides you as a viewer into like a frame of the landscape.
The title of the work is Soul Train. I thought that had a kind of poetry about it. That Soul Train has a kind of kindness and a memory about a lovely thing that once was. I played around with ways of creating a small assemblage that hinted at a train. The enlarged version of this miniature abstract train form, once it's in the landscape, will kind of be quite a surprise and a kind of folly, I think.
Interestingly, when I sat down with my clay to sort of build this thing, it almost like grew into a face. We respond to faces because we have a face. So it creates a kind of empathy with the site. And so building a face into the wall made complete sense to me. So I knew I wanted a vessel in it and a receptacle, and I knew I wanted to sort of have it in that continuum of, classic bronze sculptures where you touch a part of them for good luck. The frog on the boulder is almost like a celebration of the health of the land.
I had an idea that I wanted to somehow trace a branch that was washed up on the shoreline of Lake Eildon. I didn't want to damage this branch and I wanted to return it to the place, so worked out a system of wrapping rope around the branch and hardening the rope and then cutting the rope off in sections to be cast in iron and leaving the branch whole and ready to be taken back to where I found it.
I really needed to embrace the whole site, so that's where I sort of landed on the idea of an arched form, the idea of a threshold. I thought that would be an aim, a work that had a lot of dimension to it as you pass, but also that you passed beneath it, that it united both sides of the track.